Board of Safety to order. Today is Wednesday, December 2nd, 2020. We are in, for the record, in City Hall Auditorium. I have Commissioner McElroy, Commissioner Benedetto, and Commissioner Bingham. And participating by Zoom, I have Commissioner McLeod, Commissioner Cogswell, and Commissioner Battle. And before we begin the meeting, could we stand and make a please?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, I'll jump right in. Item number 1, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes of the regular meeting held on November 4th, 2020.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. I hear Commissioner Benedetto and a second from Commissioner Bingham. Are there questions or comments on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do I have any abstentions? Okay, item 2. I'll entertain a motion to accept Fire Chief Talley's report.
So moved. Second.
All right, I heard Commissioner Benedetto and a second by Commissioner McElroy. Are there questions or comments on the report? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 3, I'll entertain a motion to accept Deputy Fire Chief Cook's report.
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Benedetto, and second by Commissioner McElroy. Questions on the report? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 4, I'll entertain a motion to accept emergency management report.
So moved.
So moved.
I heard Commissioner McLeod, I heard Commissioner Benedetto, and second by Commissioner McLeod. Any questions on the report? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 5, I'll entertain a motion to accept the Fire Marshal's report.
So moved.
Commissioner McElroy. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Bingham. Questions on the report? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 6, I'll entertain a motion to accept Police Chief Baldwin's report.
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Benedetto.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner McElroy. Questions on the report?
Chief, just a quick question on that coffee with the chief day that you had. What were some of the complaints they had or suggestions? Anything?
Commissioner, can you repeat the first part of your question, please?
The coffee alternative employment on Midget Avenue, how'd that go? On 10/7. I know this is from October, I haven't got to November.
Commissioner, I don't have a response for you on that. I'd have to look into that for you and get back to you.
Okay, I thought that was you attended that, no?
I'm what was it? I'm having a hard time hearing you on that. What was it again?
The coffee at alternative employment on Midget Avenue.
The coffee?
Did you have coffee on Midget Avenue?
No, I did not.
Oh, it's in your report. That's why I'm asking.
It might have been from my community policing officer, Officer Simon.
Oh, okay. All right.
Other questions?
And Chief, I have to ask about the parking lot at the Torrington Police Department.
Yeah.
Just for the record, the city's not paying any of that, correct?
I believe the city is paying for that. That's through part of the bonding package that the mayor had and the mayor and the city council approved on several years ago, sir.
No, Chief, when they made the mistake of paving it and they had to tear it up.
That would be a question for the city engineer, Commissioner.
Okay.
I can answer that. I think my understanding is that the contractor is going to be shorted on the amount that was due him, and it's going to be replaced at no cost to the city. That's according to the city engineer. So I don't think it's going to be a cost to the city.
Okay.
No, it's not. I can confirm. Vic just said he doesn't think it's going to be. I can confirm there is no extra cost to the city. That was a contractor's error. The city engineer picked it up immediately and told them to get off site and that it was being repaired by another contractor at no cost.
Okay, because I got a lot of calls on that.
We all have that cost. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Items. Oh, any other questions before I move? Then I'm going to call the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 7. I'll entertain a motion to accept the EMS provider activity report.
So moved.
Second.
And second by Commissioner McElroy. Are there any questions on this report? No questions. I'll call the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Item 8. I'll entertain a motion to consider business by volunteer fire departments.
So moved. Second.
Heard Commissioner McLeod and second by Commissioner Benedetto. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And I'm trying to look at the list of who's here. Do we have anyone from Drakeville on the call? How about anybody from Torrington on the call?
Hi, this is Jeff from Trinity. Can you hear me?
Oh, hi.
Okay.
Yes, I can.
Okay.
But they have no questions for you, Jeff, today.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you were calling me.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. We must be having some difficulty with the audio today. So right now, the call out for anybody on the Zoom call remote from Torrington or Drakeville. All right. If there are no reports, then we'll move on to item 9. Item 9, I will entertain a motion to approve Fire Chief's request to waive the city's bid process and utilize the state contract with Motorola Master Contract number A-99-001 and Norcom CT contract number 19 PSX0088 to complete the initial implementation phase of the Fireground Mobile Repeater System project for a total cost of $45,001 to be paid for with funding from Capital Reserve pending approval of the City Council.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Benedetto, second by Commissioner Bingham. And before, I just want to make sure that those numbers are correct because the chief did call me right before the meeting started. Just go over those numbers with me. Chief Towie, is that correct?
Yeah, so Mayor, the total project amounts $45,000 and a penny. The way the quotes are actually attached with exact amounts. The first state contract that's referenced is $43,681.79, and then the second contract, the one that 19 PSX 0088 contract, that one would be for the $1,318.22 for a total project scope of $45,000 and a penny.
Thank you, Chief. All right, questions on the motion? Wait, Benedetto, and it was made by Benedetto, seconded by Bingham. Yes, any questions?
Chief, thank you for giving me a phone call about this yesterday and the follow-up phone call that you and I had this afternoon. Really appreciate it. Would you mind just recapping what you and I discussed just for larger context when we talked about this, what the total cost potentially would be for a full implementation and how this would just put a dent in it?
Yeah, so I mean, this is something, this is a project that we've been aggressively pursuing grant opportunities to transition our emergency radio communication system onto the Connecticut State telecommunications system. They operate a very advanced high-tech radio communication system that municipalities are able to join on to and have talk groups created on at no cost to the municipality. The only cost is the actual equipment. Unfortunately, we were unsuccessful in that grant application again. So we are going to continue to pursue making that complete transition onto that state radio system for the fire department. The total project for that scope would be, around $500,000, $500,000 to start in that, to complete that full project. So this portion of the project would really address one of the major safety concerns that we have, that we've had for a couple of years, and that is currently our fire ground communications. When our guys are operating in an immediately, an atmosphere that's immediately dangerous to their life and health, they're operating on a simplex analog frequency, which is the industry best practice. It really works a lot like a walkie-talkie. It's only radio to radio, versus our normal dispatch, which goes back to a tower and then gets transmitted across the city. So there's situational awareness across the entire jurisdiction. This initial project will put dual band mobile repeaters in 3 strategically placed apparatus, which will mean a majority of the time we'll have at least one of these on scene, so that when our guys are operating in those immediate life hazard environments, that they're operating on with the safest best practice in that simplex analog radio to radio. The device in the trucks will actually take that signal, cross patch it onto a talk group or a frequency on the state radio system, and transmit it throughout the state system, which means it'll get back to our dispatch center. It'll be able to be recorded. It'll be able to be monitored by anyone that has access to that statewide radio system and appropriate permissions. And more importantly, if the need arises, someone can talk from that statewide system. The dispatcher could make a notification and push that out to the crews operating on the scene. So while this isn't the total project, we have been sinking funds away with the hope of using that as cost share for grant and or incrementally making movement towards completion of that project. This would be that first phase. It'd be about 10% of the total project cost is what we're estimating at this point. But the impact is going to be much larger than that, because this is really probably one of our bigger exposures. This does not address any of our current. The intent of this really is just to take care of those fire ground communications. We will be able to program and use it for more than just that, but this isn't the total project. When we do get transitioned onto the statewide system, we will see improved coverage capabilities in our normal communication system. But this is a prudent path forward. This project is designed, even though we may not be using the full functionality of it on day one, we sort of strategically made decisions and recommendations to have a system that we can build on and not have to, start over again if we have to make a move. So, the proposed project is really a foundational step in that process, and will allow us to expand our capabilities and improve our communications and interoperability down the road. We are still continuing to aggressively seek granting and alternative funding options to complete this project. I haven't given up on that. Actually, one of my hopes is, and some feedback I've gotten is, by starting this project, I can switch the narrative from this is the equipment we need, we don't have it, we need the full project. We can sort of change it of we've had identified safety concern. We've taken steps to address it, but we need help to get over the finish line. So our hope is that potentially this could strengthen our grant application, because we do plan to continue trying to pursue those alternative funding mechanisms to try to defer the burden off the municipality for this project.
Thank you, Chief. I mean, I appreciate the sentiment, like putting it in there, is that this shows that we are investing into the system and that any further grant applications can actually referenced that quite strongly. And with any hope and luck that those contributors from the grants will then recognize that our commitment to this is the system that we're dedicated to. So thank you.
Thank you.
Are there other questions? Seeing and hearing none, I'll call the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving into item 10, I'll entertain a motion to approve the police department's request to waive the city's bid process and utilize the state of Connecticut contract with Eagle Point Gun of Thoroughfare, New Jersey, contract number 19 PSX0220 for ammunition for the fiscal year of 2020-2021, effective January 1, 2020 through December 31, 2024, for the estimated cost of $24,500 pending approval by the City Council.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Commissioner Bingham and Commissioner McLeod. Are there questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 11, I'll entertain a motion to consider business by department heads.
So moved.
Commissioner Benedetto. And second by Commissioner McElroy. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed. Okay, Chief Baldwin, is there anything that you wanted to add this evening?
Just a few things, Mayor. Good evening, board members and Mayor. Just an announcement. Our officer, Giovanni Guerrera, today was his last day. He retired from the department after 20 years. He has accepted a position with the Middlebury Police Department, and he actually starts tomorrow. So he is an individual that we will truly miss at this department. He's made a significant impact for our agency as well as our community. So we wish Officer Guerrera the best as he goes on to a new chapter in his life. Saturday, this coming Saturday, we have the PAL Toy Drive, which will be taking place up at the Walmart. That'll be from 9 to 2. Other PAL related events, most of the events are postponed for the time being. The PAL board is going to be waiting until I believe it's going to be January 19th when the governor reevaluates the state's COVID response. If anything is lifted at that governor's conference on the 19th, PAL events will be reinitiated on a limited basis. As far as the COVID situation goes, right now, I have one officer that is out on awaiting who has a potential COVID exposure, and he's currently awaiting test results. And once we get those test results, we'll be able to determine whether or not he'll be able to return or whether he's going to have to stay out. But right now, I've been told that he is not feeling any effects of the virus. So that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions for the Chief?
Chief Baldwin, curiosity about how many calls are coming in to report businesses or individuals about COVID-related impacts?
For our department, Commissioner, since we ran a list since August of this year, and we had 10 requests specifically to us regarding COVID-related violations. Most of the violations were unfounded upon the arrival of the officers. We also received 2 COVID-related incidents or 2 COVID-related complaints from on our website regarding eating establishments, and those were forwarded to the Torrington Area Health District, who has jurisdiction over the eating establishments and the food services.
Thank you.
Bless you. In addition to those, my office also received 4 complaints. So I think that's part of the challenge is, you know, the complaints come here and there. And but I think we have a good strategy for following up on those, especially when it relates to any business.
In my opinion, 4 coming to your office, and Chief, you said 10?
Yes.
So 14 combined since August, that's not awful. So I think that speaks volumes to how well our our city's handling this, so thank you all.
Yeah, just to clarify, Commissioner, that's 10 for the police department and 10 were direct calls to the police department and 2 were through our website, so a total of 12.
Was any action taken, fines or?
No fines, no fines, because I at least I don't know about the police department. There were no fines. Well, you said they were unfounded, is what you mean.
No.
Yeah.
No, from the police department perspective, we've issued no fines. We did, there was one individual that was charged with violating the executive order, but it was in addition to other criminal charges that he was being charged with, and that occurred back in May.
Yeah, and for the ones that I received, it was the same thing. They were pretty much a misunderstanding. Quite frequently, the complaints come in, and the complainant doesn't completely understand what the rules are. So if they call and they complain that they're in a gym or a fitness facility, and they're concerned that people are not masked, you know, when we check it out, what we find out is they weren't masked, but they were apart. And that those are the rules. So those are the kinds of responses that I received when I spoke directly with those businesses.
With the violation, the fine that they just increased, or the government noted to be increased, have you received any guidance as to what constitutes that fine, or what predicates the delivery of that fine?
The fine is it's not going to, it won't be administered through the police department. That will more than likely be administered through Torrington Area Health. The executive order basically speaks of restaurants and eating establishments that are beyond the capacity as authorized by the state. So, I mean, the guidelines are basically the same as they have been in the past as far as capacities are concerned. It's just that I think the governor has determined that there are eating establishments throughout the state and other establishments throughout the state that haven't taken his executive order seriously. And therefore he is, with this current executive order that he's issued with the steeped up the increase in fine, I think it's just he's indicating how serious he is taking this, this current COVID crisis.
Thank you.
Other questions?
Yes, I have one, Chief Baldwin. I'm sorry to hear we're losing an officer who's retiring and going to another police department. I know last month we kind of talked a little bit about retention. I was looking at my notes and I didn't have it down. Do you know off the top of your head how many officers have chosen to go to another department in the past calendar year? And if not, if it's something you could just follow up on, and you know, it's something I like to get a better handle on.
Yeah, off the top of my head, Commissioner, you know, we did lose several officers this past year. I don't want to be inaccurate, so I can get that information for you.
That's fine. If you can follow up, it's just you know, that reminded me, and it was from the conversation last time. I was curious how many in the past calendar year, and if you even know 2 years, I'd be curious in that.
Yeah, I can give you a complete rundown since my start here.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
And Chief, if you could share that with the entire board, and I would only ask that you share with them whether or not they are retirements that are retiring and going to employ that somewhere else versus somebody who's leaving before their pension is vested or before they can collect their pension. I think that that's something that's has to be a part of the analysis of this situation as well.
Okay.
Any other requests along those lines? All right. Then moving on to Chief Kelly.
Thank you. I just want to start by thanking the board for their support on moving forward on the communications project. It's going to go a long way to improving our firefighter safety and operations. So thank you for that. Been pretty busy on the emergency management side with COVID and sort of keeping an eye on those numbers. You know, we are starting to see those numbers continue to go up and sort of increasing our coordination calls with our, you know, stakeholders, whether it be Charlotte or the long-term care facilities, just to maintain situational awareness of what's going on, and really just urge the patients and taking those safety steps as far as wearing a mask, watching your distance, and washing your hands frequently. We do currently have 2 members that are, well, 1 member was under quarantine, that's coming out of quarantine and will be returning to work tomorrow. We do have another member that was on quarantine due to a contact and is now in isolation because of a positive test. So we have, been seeing limited impact in our workforce, nothing that is alarming to me at this point, but obviously something that we're keeping a strong eye on and trying to make sure we're being able to maintain our public safety response. The unsheltered homeless is a big concern at this point. We're grateful for the efforts and leadership through the mayor. United Way has secured space, and with Operation Overflow not being able to operate as normal due to the COVID restrictions and everything going on, the good news is last night we were able to stand up sheltering capabilities to absorb that need or that expected need that's forecasted in through some Department of Housing funding and providers stepping up and making it happen. So it's a big relief on that. Did want to mention the firefighters locals doing their annual toy drive, Christmas toy drive for the kids. So that's ongoing, and they'll be delivering those during the holiday season. And that's it. Obviously, just want to wish everyone a happy holiday, Merry Christmas and happy holiday season.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions?
Yes, Chief, I just have a question. As Emergency Management Director, are you in contact with the Superintendent of Schools? And if so, what is the story there? Are they going to stay out of school, or are they going back to school next week?
Yeah, so I mean, we're in frequent communication with the schools. We obviously have our regular unified command situational awareness meetings and stuff, and the superintendent and the schools are obviously included in that. I don't know, I won't speak for the superintendent. I know they are keeping an eye on the numbers, and they're paying close attention to the COVID numbers within the schools, within the community, and they're in constant consultation with Torrington Area Health District. And they are, I believe, and in my experiences, they're making measured decisions based upon the numbers before them. Right now they're out. I don't know if it's still up in the air. I don't think they've made a final decision as far as whether they're going to maintain in the distance learning footprint or pull back to the hybrid. But I do know that they're constantly consulting with Torrington Area Health, and they are a part of our team. So I do know when they do make those decisions, they make the messaging as is appropriate. It should come through them.
And how do the numbers look in the school system?
We don't have that. No. And I'm going to add to what the chief was just stating. At 5:30 this afternoon, the superintendent sent an email out that even though they are planning to resume in-person instruction for K-5 and hybrid learning grades 6-12 on Monday, December 7th, at this time, they just don't know what the extent of the long holiday weekend has had on the community. So they're just warning the families that they may be rejected. So, and I appreciate the fact that the superintendent she sends these emails out once a day, once every couple of days. And as the chief has stated, she's a part of our executive policy committee, which convenes every other Monday, and then also engages in the situational awareness meetings, which is on the Wednesday of the same week. So there is a constant flow of communication between the city and the schools. Unfortunately, it is a day-by-day thing.
Yeah, and my understanding on the numbers is I don't think they're seeing large or indication of spread within the schools, but there is just concern because the numbers are rising within the community, which is going to impact everyone, right? It's going to impact the students, it's going to impact the staff. And I do know they're monitoring that, and they are mindful of that.
Thank you.
Other questions for Chief Kelly? All right, anything new from Deputy Chief Tripp this evening?
No, ma'am. I just want to wish everybody a safe and COVID-free holiday season.
Thank you. And I heard Jeff on the phone earlier. Is there anything that you wanted to add from Trinity this evening?
Yeah, good evening. Just wanted to mention a couple of things. Last month we did have, unfortunately, a busy month with quite a few cardiac arrests. We did have 2 calls with positive outcomes. I was speaking to Officer Bob Guided the other day, who did a great job in assisting us, and he wanted me to thank the crews for the job that they did. The fire department assisted us as well with their Lucas device. This was a bariatric patient on the 2nd floor early in the morning, and it was just a very difficult carry. And again, I want to just thank both departments for their great job in assisting us, and again with a positive outcome for some of these patients. I also wanted to just say that we had a toy drive last month also for Torrington Youth Services, and it was just a great turnout. We collected almost $800 in money and gift cards, and filled an ambulance full of toys. I mean, the outpouring was great. We had I can think of 2 people that came out with grocery carts just full of toys, and we even had one guy that wheeled out 2 bicycles for us. So it was just it was a great outpouring. It was great to see people that really were there to support the kids and there to support Trinity also. So I just want to thank everybody for that.
Excellent.
Great, thank you, Jeff. I just got a message. I think Dave Matlis has joined the meeting, and I know that you missed an opportunity under the report from our volunteer fire departments. Is there anything you wanted to add this evening?
Yes, just wanted to say thank you to Torrington for allowing us to use some of their spare SCBA bottles, because at this point, with us not getting the grant for the SCBAs, we have 10 bottles that are out of service this year, and instead of having to buy some to supplement us until we get another grant, they're allowing us to use it. So that's a huge help. You know, I just wanted to also say that we had fun light up the street, setting up the truck and whatnot. Right now, I believe we have 2 members, new members that are planning taking firefighter 1 this spring. So that's also good news for that.
Great, thank you. Did you have any more questions for Chief Nicholas? Great, thanks, Dave. Moving on into item number 12, I'll entertain a motion to consider business by the mayor and members of the Board of Safety.
So,
thank you, Commissioner Benson. And second by Commissioner McElroy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, starting from my right. Anything this evening, Commissioner McElroy?
I just want to say happy holidays to everybody.
Thank you. Commissioner Benson.
no, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and stay safe. That's it. Thank you.
Commissioner Benson.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. It's been a joyful year despite all the hiccups that we've all faced, but it's been a pleasure working with you also. Thank you.
Thank you. And to my call, Commissioner Paxwell, anything this evening? Thank you. Commissioner McLeod.
Yeah, Mayor, I just have one question and one comment to make, because I'm kind of curious. All the board members received, or I assume received, couple binders from Lori Pepler's attorney from the city clerk's office. And there's been some stuff written in the newspaper about the situation. I just wanted to know before we go too far, what is the board's responsibility? What is the process on this, and can it be spoken about? Do we have to be quiet? You know, other than obviously medical issues. So I'm just kind of looking for some guidance. If anything right now.
Sure. So, I mean, obviously, this is a matter that may potentially be as litigation. So it's always prudent for the board members to not speak to a matter without having an opportunity to hear all of the details. We do have counsel ready to meet with the board of trustees. And I think we have a couple of dates next week that we were going to try to schedule a special meeting with the board of trustees to go over what you've received and to hear from the city's attorney what advice he has for the board. And I don't know if Vic Michelle is on the call. Is there anything you wanted to add to that, Vic?
No, you covered it, Mayor. We're working on on trying to find a date that's convenient for the Board of Safety and for myself and for Jamie Lemire and the council that we've had to take a look at this case. This is a very complicated case. We're calling it a case of first impression. And at some point, we would like to be able to explain to the Board of Safety just what the ramifications are and what the progress forward should be. But hopefully we can put something together for next week once we can find a convenient date for everybody.
Thank you, Vic. Does that at least give you some indication of where we're going and how quickly we're going to try to get there?
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Commissioner Battle, anything this evening?
Just wanted to wish everyone Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and also to officially welcome Greg Coswell to the board, and just everyone to stay safe.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner.
All right. There being no further business before the board, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Second.
And second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you.